All right, welcome back. It's still TV3 New Days, a special edition in commemoration of the Homowo Festival. It starts in today for a number of the Ghana communities, and of course, it will be climaxed tomorrow. So we're dressed to represent and to celebrate our beautiful and rich culture. By the way, quick happy birthday to Madame Juliet Fosua of Kumasi Tanoso. She teaches at Abrense RNC Primary School. Says, may the Lord God see you through all your endeavors. This is from Eric from TV3, and everyone else who's celebrating their birthday, happy birthday to you. We found a way to also get our guests to celebrate Homowo. We've given them a bit of the nyanyara to put around their necks. And so lawyer Roxin Dafiamepo, he's the MP for South Dine. He's here with us. Good morning.
Morning.
Afi o Afi.
Afia Bania and now.
Yeah, Afia Yane Bani now. And also George AEC, he is the Director of Communications at NADMO. Should I speak Ghana or do you get lost when we start speaking Ghana? Have you ever witnessed the Homowo Festival?
Yeah.
Oh, you have, Roxanne. It's beautiful, right?
Yeah, it's very, very beautiful.
Are we celebrating our culture that much?
Yes, I think the problem is that, you know, it moves from community to community.
Yeah.
Or from quarter to quarter. And so when it's time for those two people, I think that's what gets media bliss. And so thereafter, the media coverage dies down. Yeah. Otherwise, they start, every Ghana community celebrates their Homowo.
Exactly.
So I'm very glad to see what you've done today. And I hope other media houses will copy it. So we can focus on, after all, we're on Ghana. Yeah. I
know. I guess also maybe because a lot of people think that it's the same procedure in every community. And so if we've covered one, maybe there's no need to move to the other one.
Variations. There's slight variations.
There are.
Yeah.
There are. Which is what Johnny was saying, that, you know, in Gamashi, they don't do Pashimo. But when you come to Teshi, they do it. They do and so you might miss out on something because you didn't move to the other community.
I know that there are slight variations.
Yeah. You know. But it's beautiful. George, have you witnessed it before?
From a distance.
From a distance, yes. Okay.
But I want to know, don't you have the climaxing points?
So for the people in Teshi, that's where they hit the streets and Shirikma.
No, the Ga Traditional Council, the Homowo celebration, spearheaded by the Gamanche. Don't you have that one?
Well, I mean,
ultimately.
No, so that's why we're saying that it's celebrated by the various communities. And so one community will be done before another, you know, starts. And so the various community heads are the ones who will help climax.
Yeah, I brought that in because I pray we have peace and harmony at that level, so that we have the head, you know, the Takitaria type and co, so that we can have them all. This rich culture to the world.
Well, a bit of what I know is that, you know, the Gamashi, I mean, when the Gamashi priest, it was time for the Homowo, he had gone to the eastern part of Ghana, you know, so they had to celebrate without him, and they brought another chief to commemorate it. So when he came back, he insisted that they celebrate again because he missed. So they get to celebrate with the other communities. I don't know if that still happens now, but at least that's the little history that I know about it. But let's see, if you have the opportunity to, you know, visit any of these Ghana communities, it would be nice to go witness it. But of course, there's COVID, so please be careful and make sure that you don't catch the COVID. But
we have been invited by the Honorable Neil Vanderpool. And all the MP's caucus.
Oh, and that's cool. So you'll be going?
Yes, we have to go.
Yeah, you have to. You have to go.
We have to.
And also try the Kuklu.
Yeah,
you should. But this is a top, by the way.
Yes, this is a top.
Yes. But then tomorrow is the quick play, so that's what you'll have with the... John seems very lost in all of this. But let's introduce our first story for today, and Johnny touched on it briefly. They started this campaign on Monday. A school in South Dai that had been constructed and renovated was under lock. Exactly, that is your constituency as well. It had been under lock for a whole year, and when we spoke to the contractor, he alleged that the DCE in that area insisted that he had to make an appearance, you know, before the school officially be commissioned. And so they've been waiting for him, and he never showed. Now, Johnny also spoke to the DCE, and he also had a different version. He's never met the contractor. He says that the contract was awarded by Getz Fund back in 2012. And he had no control over that. Okay. Yes. Well, that's why we're bringing it up, so we can discuss that briefly before we move on. So take a look at the story that was put together by Komla Adom on this.
I have never met the contractor. I don't know him. I've never seen him before. I've never spoken to him before. the PPMC consultants have never indicated that they were ready to hand over. And at any time that projects are ready, what is done is for the technical team to inspect the project as to specifications and work well done.
Okay.
And then we'll organize a meeting of the stakeholders, the community, the schools, director for education, and we'll go in there and inspect and hand over from the consultant to the chief executive to the director of education, director of education to the head of the SMC or the PTA or all of them, the community, for them to know that the work is done.
How is it possible that there's a project in your jurisdiction that you superintend on behalf of the President of the Republic, and you have never taken occasion to speak with the contractor, never seen him before?
Unfortunately, the contract was not awarded by the Assembly but by GET Fund.
What is your role as DCE in such projects that are awarded from elsewhere? Because I'm trying to balance the two in my head, that somebody is in your backyard digging to set up a school and you have not met the contractor before. I am shocked. I don't know if you are shocked too.
It is. Well, I will not say I'm shocked, but that is what happens. We try to look for the contractors. We don't have the way of finding that. Some contractors will come to you and say, I have this project in your district and I'm working with you and I want you to help us, and we help them.
The school is completed now. You saw the story. The children are sitting on the veranda at the mercy of the weather.
I've seen it, and we want to use it, but it will have to be handed over to the Assembly for us to use.
We want the school opened now. What do we do? What can you do to help us?
The consultants come to my office today. Well, today I'm going to the AD to collect some books for the schools, but tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, they should come and we open the school.
And this report was first done by Armstrong Gold Alogbe. He is one of us here at TV3, and that was the DCE for Kaira in South Dai. And he says, well, I've never met the contractor. We tried to look for the contractor, couldn't find him, and this contract was awarded by GET Fund. We're hearing that today the school will be commissioned officially so the students can move into the classrooms and study. Councillor, starts with you. I mean, this is your backyard, literally.
Yes. No.
And this is the DC who's saying that they couldn't find the contractor.
And it's shocking for the DC to say that. Very, very shocking.
Why?
Because you see, this was a project that he's aware of. In fact, the project was, the building was roofed by the end of 2016.
Okay.
And there were payment difficulties. So after some time, we did some lobbying. So the contractor got paid around 2018. So he came back to do the plastering and painting, and fixing of windows and doors.
And all that.
So he was done by the middle of last year, which was the campaign season. The DC contested me. You understand?
For the MP position?
Yes. So he campaigned in that community. So it is not correct that he knew nothing about the project. It is, look, this is a very serious matter. I'm very emotional about it because it goes to, it tells you the kind of leadership we have. This man goes to the community. In fact, the community has another water project. It's called Safe Water. There's an issue about reservoir. Another community came to New Kaira to ask it to create some problem. The DC is the head of DISEC. DISEC meets over that matter. And during campaign, he was confronted with this problem. What we are supposed to do is to provide desk to complement the project, because they don't have desks. If you realize that they are using very old desks.
Yeah.
And so I have now initiated the process to allocate, to buy about 150 desks out of my share of the common fund for the school. It's not ready yet.
How soon will that be ready?
I think according to the contractor, it should be ready in about 2 months' time.
Okay.
So it is not, so for him to say that he has no idea about the project, we have another GET Fund project, similar one in Todome. The contractor also got some payments last year, and he's also trying to finish. So would the DC say that he doesn't know about that one too? There's another project in Pekijake, which I'm told that suddenly he's going to commission that one too. Then there's one at RC in Germany. So is the DC going to say that he doesn't know about that? He wasn't candid.
Which is what I'm trying to understand, because he says it was awarded by Gates Fund. Is there a different arrangement for what kind of power you have over
a lot of projects we have,
a lot
of projects we have in the district, they come from central government anyway. So can you see that because a project emanated from central government, you won't pay attention to it, you not even monitor and visit them regularly to ensure that the project is successfully completed? As we speak, government is building 5 structures at Parliament Vocational School. They are giving us 2 hostels, 1 for boys, 1 for girls, a dining hall, an administration block, and a workshop. 5. I go there regularly because I'm interested in the early completion of the project. So the DC doesn't go. So of course, if there are issues about that project, for instance, he will be struggling to speak.
Which is what is disturbing, because again, I mean, if you're appointed by the president as a DCE, you should send some reports back to the president about work that you've been able to do.
Look, let me...
just with hopes that you'll be reappointed.
Let me tell you something. Sometimes when I mention communities in South Dine, they are surprised because they don't know that those communities exist. And if you have time, I can mention all my communities in South Dine. You mention some and they ask you, hey, these towns, these communities or villages, they exist in South Dine. You have to tell them yes. Because I go there for votes. So how can you forget about their problems?
Because they are not accountable to the people?
Exactly.
Maybe is that the reason?
See, he got appointed, he doesn't rely on votes to come to office.
But he still needs to send the reports back to his boss.
Yes.
Which is why he needs to work.
Yes, so his answers tells you the kind of reports he said. And he said something about CODA. He said, although sometimes the projects are awarded by Get Fund and CODA. What he said about CODA cannot be correct.
How so?
Because CODA and other middle development authorities, they were set up purposely to implement the IPEP project. The 1 million, one consistency, 1 million projects. And CODA will award a project based on the request from the
funds that come in?
No, the project will be awarded based on the request from the district.
Oh, okay.
I'm struggling to say a constituency or a district. So it cannot also be correct that CODA will award a job or a contract for a project to be undertaken in the district constituency. And you, the DC, will not be aware. Because you would have sent the request that what projects your needs. Then CODA will look to prioritize with your consent and award a project. And anytime they do, they send you a copy. They copy you in the award letter. So my DC simply got this wrong. But me, I'm particularly happy that the committee, because every day they're on my neck.
Because they think that you should be the one in charge of this.
But I don't have that. If I had the power, I would have opened this school long ago. But I didn't have the power. What they are also asking is that there's supposed to be a place of convenience attached.
Okay.
That one is not completed.
To the school?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a place of convenience. I think it's a WC, supposed to be 4-4. That's an 8-unit WC, which is behind the, it's L-shaped. It is located behind the building. And I'm also making efforts to complete it for them.
Okay.
So all we want is to get a place open. Let them have access to the rooms, to the classrooms. You also saw that their blackboards are not in good shape. So we'll be buying them whiteboard. That's a formica board.
Should we go back to the discussion of electing DCEs and,
Perhaps yes.
Members
and
of the
perhaps also, maybe some periodic review. I mean, look, if a DC superintends the district, and from New Kaira to Kweve is about 10.5 kilometers to the district capital. But my point is that the man knows that community very well. And there's no way you could be visiting that community for campaign purposes, for other issues, and not even look at the building and get attracted that this is a huge building. They even ask questions. So it tells you something. He wasn't candid.
George, let me bring you in here because, again, before you put up any building in any district, you must go for permit. Now, this DCE says that they could not find the contractor, and again, because the contract was awarded by Get Fund. But even before they dig the ground, the assembly must give them permits. And so do you think that he's lying? What do you make of the responses that he gave?
Thank you. Bella, good morning. Good morning to our viewers. Let me use your platform to commiserate with my boss, the Deputy Director of Communications for the MPP, Jennifer Queen, who is burying their grandmother this weekend in Kumasi. We commiserate with you. And let me congratulate my other boss, Kofi Ejapong, on his appointment as Substantive Deputy Director of Communications at the Presidency. Congrats.
Yeah. Even for an appointment.
Oh, see honorable.
Proceed.
Yeah, Bella, the issue on the ground, I would want to know that normally the problem comes up when the contractor refuses to allow the DCE and the MPs to commission because certain payments up to a certain point is not been done, okay? Or he needs some money to complete certain minor projects to complete the whole thing. And so normally the contractors are rather the impediment other than the MP or the chief executive. But the converse seems to be the case. And it's worrying again too. I know for a fact that if Get Fund is going to do a project in a district, they do initial assessment and bring it to them. Do you get it?
Bring it to who?
To Get Fund.
Okay, so the contractor has to do the assessment.
So they get to know whether, yes, on their priority list, the Kaira project and co. So Get Fund.
It was awarded as part of the schools under tree intervention.
You get it.
Okay.
So Get Fund would definitely engage some people in the district, okay, before the final this thing is approved and then sent back. And when you're going to start, I know some that you go see the district chief executive.
Yeah.
Okay. But he says he's not aware. But maybe because
let me also say this.
Yeah.
But the history is that when he came to office in November 2017, the project had been put up. Okay. So what has happened under his stewardship is the finalization of the project, the plastering and the painting and fixing of the windows. You know, what makes a project complete.
Yeah.
And this, like I said, this happened last year. So we were expecting that as part of the campaign, issues, we would have commissioned it.
But he didn't do that.
But he didn't do it.
But which is where the problem is, because there should be documentation.
There are documentation.
So if you're looking for the contractor, you should get the document. No,
he's aware. In fact, there's a report from the engineer, the district engineer, about projects that have been completed, including this one. And there was an indication that the vice president was going to tour the region and also visit Southern. And these were some of the projects that are listed that he would have visited. And commissioned, sort of. So he should have stated some of these things that, he's aware, but they had programmed to commission it. Perhaps it has delayed. And that because of the delay and the pressure from the media, he will now take steps. Then people can understand.
But definitely.
But if you say that you are not aware, you don't know the contractor, doesn't speak well of you. And the district as a whole, I was very angry when I heard him. You couldn't undermine the district like that, as if we don't know what we are doing.
George, we're moving from schools under trees to what? Schools on verandas when they're actually buildings? Is that not worrying?
And I'm also worried a little because definitely there would have been handing over notes to the chief executive. And so it should have been incorporated therein that this project is about 99% complete. And all we need is to, finish this thing and commission it so the students can use it. And again, two things. The assemblyman in the area, didn't he raise these issues?
He has.
Assembly
the assemblyman has.
And the MP, did the MP engage the DCE on this particular matter? because the MP is the, people's representative.
Yeah.
And this is a nice project that, is been done and
this
completed.
This is a project that I count as part of my achievement.
Yes. So
oh, you did?
Yes.
No hold on, I'll let you come to it.
No problem. Your achievement, good. But how was the engagement with the DCE so that it will be, commissioned for the key children to use it?
But I mean, we're all very much aware that, especially when the MP in that constituency is from the opposition, there's that push and pull.
No. That's not a challenge because
but we've spoken to some of them, and we are clearly aware of some of the challenges that they face.
Some of the DCs are very much aware. Okay, that they need to work.
Council, please hold on. I'll let you come in.
Yeah, they need to work in partnership with.
But we all know that doesn't happen in most cases.
I'm sitting here, so I need to.
Council, I'll let you respond to all that.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, so that engagement should be very important.
But is it?
And why is it, as he said, that the vice president was billed to have visited the place, and that project was one of it. And so why would the MC or the DCE say he's not aware of the state? You get it? So it's a bit worrying. They should iron out. But my joy is that TV3 is waded in, and as we speak, is going to be commissioned today.
But it didn't need to take the media.
It didn't.
I mean, and I kept asking this question, that if any of them had children in that school, would they be comfortable with having their kids study in the verandas?
It didn't, but maybe, Bella, let's avail our mind to the other aspect. Honorable was talking about desk and others. Maybe because they were looking at commissioning it without furniture in it.
But there was some furniture that they were using. They're old ones. You don't have to wait and get everything brand new before you move into the building.
I thought it's unfortunate it delayed the way it did, but the good news is that effective immediately. They're going to put it to use, and then the children will have a place to sit. Sitting on the veranda is not the best.
It's disturbing.
Yes.
So let's see.
But I pray the MP and the MCE work in partnership for the development of the area, because he has the vision of getting the mono desks for them so that classroom activity can go on very well.
Okay.
You get it? And that is a laudable one. But he should work in tandem with the MC.
I'm sitting here, and I try my best to work with him.
Yeah.
I've had my difficulties. Look, there are KV water closet facilities. And I keep saying, I think we should look at the issue this way. Why is it that when projects are completed, we need a ceremony to open them? Because you see, if I had power, if it were within my mandate, I would have gone to open some of these, the water closets that have been completed and are waiting commissioning by the DCE or whoever is in charge of the assembly. If I had power, I would have done that. But I don't. You see, I don't have that power. But with this development, I think I should go around commissioning things.
You can't.
Yes, once the project.
You can.
That's why I say
you should work in partnership.
You cannot just commission.
Exactly.
Yes.
Why should we take a ceremony? There are WC facilities that have been completed in some communities, like Peki. It's not been commissioned because the DC hasn't.
So is it under lock?
Yes.
For how long?
For about 2-3 years now.
You don't say.
Look, we completed the CHIPS compound at Peki Wudobe. It was initiated by my predecessor, Honorable Asima. And when I came, we completed it. It took the DC about 3 years.
To commission it?
To commission. It was commissioned just about last year.
But you are the MP of the area.
Yes.
What have you been able to do to ensure that
No, but I cannot. That is why I'm saying that I think with this development, when projects are completed, I should be able to walk in, get the community together one day, and just have it open.
But the keys are with the contractor, and so he will have to drop
yes,
it at the assembly.
I'll get a contractor to do it. Because
are you going to pay the contractor?
No, but
the agreement, exactly. If they owe him money and the agreement says that drop it at the assembly, so we pay you.
Bella, we are running into this problem because of this attitude that a DC must necessarily commission a project. So when the DC decides not to, so for the fact that we have to send the media to go and cover this, you understand my point? So I think we should address that issue.
But a DC in a district should be able to timely
But
commission
did you
someone.
listen
If they
to the
want to commission,
DC?
should
Did
be
you
able
listen?
to commission this
Mr.
thing
Speak-
within your own
Mr.
district.
Speak-
Well, that's what he's
Mr.
also
Speak-
saying.
Because there are
Even
some
find the
projects,
contractor.
they want central government
Hold on,
to come.
Mr. Isi,
That is a different ball.
we are speaking
Like
this
how he
way
said that the
because
VP
of the
was gonna go there.
responses
Yeah.
the DC gave. I
Yeah.
didn't answer the questions for him. It is his answers that is attracting criticism.
Okay, let's
There's
make
a-
clear.
there's a
But
way-
I think I disagree with Honorable is saying...
Georgie, hold on, let him just land.
Hold on, let me finish.
Let
As
him
we
land.
speak, there are about 4 Get Farm projects outstanding at Peki Sectec. There are about another 4 that are in the various stages of completion at Peki Secondary School. Then there is one in the construction, which is the Assembly Hall at Gofco Peki Training College. So within Peki Low and Cleveland, the secondary school and the training college, there are about 10 Get Farm projects. Is the DC aware? When you go to Kweve, there's one. When you go to my village, Tongochanak, there are about 8 Get Farm projects existing in the secondary school and at various stages of completion.
Okay.
Then we have the basic schools infrastructure. A lot of if you go to Palimeduga, there's a Get Farm project that have been chasing Get Fund to make payments to the contractor so he can come back and complete it. Is the DC aware about that?
How often do you engage the DCE as well?
Because
again, it's communication that really can...
As we speak, they haven't called assembly meeting for, I think...
You are an ex-official member.
Yes. So if we called assembly meeting, I will go.
Do you have a relationship beyond waiting for a meeting? Are you able to communicate with the DCE?
Yes, I'm able to communicate with him.
So have you informed him of some of these issues?
No, but I shouldn't be telling him where the projects are. You are the DCE.
No, but that's what I'm saying, that a lot of the community members are coming to you thinking that you are the one who's supposed
he's been in office, he's in his 4th year.
Yeah, but you have to also keep him on his toes, because if he's not doing his job...
I am not his supervisor.
I understand you,
Yes.
but Council, you're saying that the community members, again, that's wrong notion, that is the MP that builds or constructs, the buildings, the roads and stuff. So at the end of the day, it's you.
So what I do,
that will endure the
what
pressure.
I do is I do my chasing at Get Fund. I do my lobbying at Get Fund. That, we have this normal project. So especially I get the headmasters to write to me and give me a list of existing Get Fund projects in their schools. So armed with those letters, I'm able to go chase for payments. When the contractors get it, they come back and they complain. And I'm saying that as we speak, Todome has one such project. Just like the new Kaira one. It's also almost complete. And I want to ask the DC whether he's aware. And I speak like this because this is a man that contested me. We were on the campaign trail. He wanted to be MP. Apparently, he didn't know what he wanted to get into.
Well, so on the screen right now, we have the keys that have officially been handed over to the Assembly.
These are the keys.
And Gold Armstrong Alogwe is on his way to New Kaira, where we're told the commissioning of the 6th classroom block will be commissioned later today. And so we'll bring you all the details, but those are the keys. And again, it had to take the media. George, let's go back to this conversation.
And let me add this before you come in, Bella. Let me add this. We have health center at Pekichienu. We have a new chips compound at Sanga. We have a health center at Ufegbe. We have a health center at Beve, a chips compound at Chupukofe, a clinic at Todome, clinic at Ajokwe, clinic at Agbate, chips compound at Wudome, a health center at Jake, then the government hospital itself. If you go to the other side of the constituency, we have a chips compound at Chate. We have a VRA clinic at Tongwahon. We have a TOO clinic, that's a community clinic. We have a health center at Palimeduga. We have JJ clinic at Tongochanakpe, an EP clinic at Gemini.
Quite a long list.
Yes. And
Are
then
these all completed?
No, they've all been completed.
Okay.
And then a proposed chips compound at Kpungboni Kofe. When was the last time the DC visited these facilities, including Abui Chita chips compound? So that's the point I'm making. If you don't visit these facilities and there are issues, you struggle to speak to the issues. And that's for health. What about our road network?
Education and roads.
And roads.
Quite a number of them.
Exactly.
George, so back to that conversation. I mean, the president had initiated that conversation of electing DCEs and all of that. And then there was also that angle where, you know, it looked like we were trying to politicize it, which is why eventually that decision was tabled. And so we should go back to this conversation, should we not? Maybe it's time for us to consider electing the members of the assembly, because that way the people can keep them on their toes since they're answerable to them.
Yeah, we need to have that conversation, put it in the public domain again, and then see the way forward. It's very important, as he's saying. If you listen to Honorable, it's as if because the MCE is not elected, he doesn't seem accountable to the people. And that's where my fear was, that he is the elected rep of the people. And so they can then ultimately bring their anger to bear on him, okay, if he doesn't push for the commissioning.
And this anger was supposed to bear on me.
He shouldn't push. The DC should be able to do his job without the MP.
Oh, no, there are some. You know, the whole district, look at the number of projects he's mentioned, okay? You know, some are completed, maybe some are yet to be completed. And so the DC need to lobby or push for certain funds to be released for contractors to complete some of these things. You get it? And so those that have been done and completed, maybe the attention may not be on them. We'll be pushing for the completion of those that are yet to be completed. You get it? But you, the MP, you are aware that this is completed. Okay, so why don't we commission this so that they can be put to use, whilst you keep pushing for the others to be completed? The only issue is, I will plead with him. The argument he made that maybe going forward he would rather go commissioning himself. It cannot be and shouldn't be. It's going to create or engender tension in the
But do we have to sit and wait a whole year?
Oh, no. But I don't also see why we should, some of these projects, we should wait for it to be commissioned before we use them, when we know that students or pupils are in distress situations, okay? The number of projects is mentioned, whether they predated this government or some are within this government. I will commend the former Minister of Education to, you know, they did auditing of schools and some challenge schools and co. And so that was a very good thing the Honorable Matthew Opoku-Prempeh did, and which will make him, at a glance, know that this community's school has a challenge. So then he will push to get the issue. But let's have that rapport between the
But
MP
these projects predate this government. They all predate you.
Don't worry.
My struggle is that you should rather complete them, and I'm running into problems.
Don't worry.
Every day,
let's work in cooperation.
I
MP
agree.
And the DC, so that our people will be the ultimate beneficiaries of these projects.
And TV3 gets results. I mean,
we commend TV3
kudos
too for the
exactly
good
to
work
Armstrong Gold
and we
who
commend the
covered
MP
this story.
for, you know,
and also Johnny Hughes was able to speak to the DC, and he gave us those answers. Whichever way, we're glad that later today the school will be officially commissioned.
He covered this project and our routes. Our routes, the road leading to South Nile is in a horrendous state. You know, and I think today, after this program, is going to cover a few things, and I'm very happy.
MP, what happened to the Eastern Corridor from those days?
I should be asking you.
I know those
You've been power for 5 years.
I know the enclave.
We will not get out of here if we decide to.
Eastern Corridor
power for 5 years.
Time. Your stronghold.
I've been using concrete to seal the pothole. They say I should stop. They will come and fix it.
No, you have to stop.
So you've stopped.
Concrete.
It's 5 years.
It's bad. The road is bad. The road is really bad.
What are you doing about it?
So I just want even the potholes to be sealed. Just potholes.
There are certain things that ought to be concluded.
What
the road
things
minister
exactly?
is definitely assured the nation that Eastern Corridor, it starts from Tema. It's definitely going to be completed.
No, but what things need to be completed before this road is?
What they have done recently is to award my portion. That's
they've segmented it.
45 kilometers. Askuma to have it to a new contractor it's been repackaged for 285 million Ghana cedis.
Good.
It's going through the process.
Thank you.
But I'm saying that until that is done, actually let's seal the portals.
Yes.
Between Askuma, Peki, and
so bad.
and they should allow me to seal it. They say no.
No, concrete.
And it's killing,
it's killing the work difficult.
But what do you want me to use? I can't buy bitumen.
You know, we need our roads completed.
But
let's move on now. And yesterday, an official letter was received from the office of Sheikh Al Maktoum. and he is the middleman who, signed a contract with the Ministry of Health and, in fact, the government of Ghana to supply some Sputnik V vaccines to the country. And, of course, he has supplied 20,000 of these vaccines to us. There was a whole controversy around it after that Norwegian media reporter put out the confirmation that, we're not supposed to use a middleman, and we did. And, in fact, we breached some, procurement laws. And so there was a whole, conversation around it. And now we're told that the money has been refunded, as was expected and, was proposed by, the committee that was put together to probe it, the bipartisan committee. Now, the deputy majority leader has confirmed the receipt of $2.4 million that has been refunded by Sheikh Al Maktoum. And in fact, yesterday he spoke and he said that, first of all, the minister never lied. And thus the minority and the majority agreed, that the minister never lied. Well, the chief whip, deputy minority chief whip in parliament says that, well, it's a lie. We did not agree because we are all very much aware that the minister told lies. But the deputy majority leader says, now that the monies have been paid, case closed, let's move on. Council, can we just close the case like that?
Not at all. Not at all.
Why?
You are aware that the Honorable Collins Dauda is facing 51 charges in court. For what? For merely the fact that he sought parliamentary approval to, when he was the head of the ministry, to build some number of housing units.
Yeah.
And when the contract was varied, supposedly varied, he didn't go back to parliament. Just that. The state is after him today. Even though the contract says, the contract that was executed says that the Saglemi housing project would have been undertaken in phases. Others are asserting that, no, the number of houses that have been delivered could not conform to the phase argument. And therefore, all the 5,000 should have been delivered at a go. That matter is before court. And you think that for someone to have negotiated and executed this agreement on behalf of the Republic, and the agreement got unilaterally terminated, and monies that supposedly were told initially that we didn't lose any funds, nothing exchanged hands. It turned out that so much exchanged hands, and now we are asking for a refund.
Yeah.
We can't allow this matter to rest.
But they say he acted at a time when things were not normal. I mean, he needed to save the lives of Ghanaians, and which he said himself.
Why? Did we suspend our laws? We did not. There are procedures under emergency situations that we are supposed to, and this government has come to parliament to act under that procedure severally. You understand? In any case, at the time, he was the president representative. He wasn't the substantive minister. Even though he had been nominated, he hasn't gone through the process. So there ought to have been an executive approval. Did he receive the executive approval? So all these matters are matters that we have to interrogate. That's why others are calling for criminal prosecution.
Yeah.
Not of him alone, but 2 or 3 more others, including the finance minister, and I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you watch carefully, the finance minister was the president's representative at the ministry. But when he got unwell and went away for treatment, the president renominated another person, Edu Boy, as his representative at the ministry. So it appears we are not interrogating the issues properly. How, under what circumstances were these payments effected? Because you saw the letters going to Accountant General and all that. So this matter, this is not the end of this case.
It is not?
It is not.
Well, we've received just part of it because clearly from the amounts that we've received, the Sheikh says that we've deducted the amounts for the 20,000 vaccines that we provided. Or
they are making that
country.
determination.
Well, I mean, yeah, but the concern here is that, again, back to the Martin Amidu versus Attorney General Waterville matter, where the Supreme Court ruled that you should return all the money. If you sidestep parliamentary approval, then we don't care who has done
every single person must come
return
back.
all the money. But in this case, we're only returning a part of it and taking up what has been supplied.
That is why I'm saying this is not the end of this matter.
So do you think that the full amount should be returned as has been ruled in the past by the Supreme
Court? Even with interest. Because
with interest?
Yes, what has happened is that this contract has been declared
null and void.
Yes, null and void ab initio. It's as if it never happened. You understand? But here is the case, the man unilaterally terminated, even before the processes could be concluded. So, the issues surrounding the procurement is murky.
But if they return all the money, who pays then for the 20,000 vaccines that were supplied?
So now you must now go after the persons who procured your services.
Okay.
You understand me?
Okay.
So
which is what, the health minister?
Well.
So he should pay for that 20,000 from his own pocket?
Why shouldn't he? Why shouldn't he?
Okay, George, let me bring you in to respond to this because, again, Annabelle Markin says the minister never lied. We all watched on TV. The minister indicated that he was not aware that payments had been made. Now, the committee puts out its report and says that, well, payments were made.
Bella.
And they got confirmation from it. But
Bella,
Annabelle Markin says he didn't lie.
He didn't lie. You and I were here. We discussed that issue. Is it around April or so on this set? And you played the voice of the finance minister then, admitting that, yes, they've made some payment
had been made
for 300,000 jabs, right? And so that is the premise of it. And the argument is being made that the letters were written and copied to the health minister. Okay, copied, yes. So the process is, you say you should go to controller and accountant general, he gets a copy. It's moved to finance, he gets a copy. Finance writes, they copy him. Okay? As to the ultimate payment haven't been done. He says he's not aware. There's the possibility. He's aware. All the documents
How
are
is there a
before
possibility?
him. But have you finally, you say you are going to pay at this level, you write and you copy him. The final one, unless, of course, you can tell me that when payments were made and receipts issued, a copy was sent to him. Okay? And you can put the evidence on the table at the committee level that, yes, when payments were made to Al Maktoum from Finance or Controller or Bank of Ghana, a copy of that receipt was issued to the health minister. And so, based on the dates and the time he appeared before the committee, he couldn't have said he wasn't aware, okay, that payment has been concluded. Otherwise, the legal people will be able to, get him to say, if he says he's not aware, he's not aware. And Alfeno is a lawyer. He is a lawyer. They can both stand in court and make the argument. That is the issue. But the man says, so yes, copies, you've copied me, but have you given me any receipt that payment has been effected?
But if you've copied me, then at least I should have some information that payment has been effected.
No, all the copy tells me the processes you're going through. Okay? So if you've concluded it, something should be on my desk to show that, yes, we've made the payment. This is the receipt. Okay? As of April, you and I were sitting here and the finance minister was talking. That, yes. So we've made these commitments and all that. And again, too, now we were in contingent times. He is a lawyer. He will understand the interpretation of the Constitution. And I thought the finance minister also went to Parliament to block certain funds for these COVID things. Okay? Now, by that, maybe lawyer will explain to me. Okay. Once funds have been blocked for the COVID thing, contingent status, does it mean he must always, if he wants to expend any part of it, must come back? The health minister must come back to Parliament? Okay? One finance minister has actually blocked some funds for the COVID fight.
Okay.
I stand to be educated. Now,
how do we relate this to that? Because this is an international transaction. Yeah, and there's a constitution that says come to Parliament.
Good. There's a
before.
Contingent, we were not in normal times. Sometimes my NDC friends make the argument as if we're in normal times.
So we make exceptions when it comes to this?
No. I asked myself, in a war situation, there's external aggression and co. And the military, the forces and co. Are short of ammunitions, fighter jets and co, and we need to, immediately on contingent basis. Do we going to go through the process to Parliament and all that? There's contingent distance that will be kicked
in. But the minority is saying that if we had come to Parliament, it would have been a certificate of urgency. And that could have been done within a day.
Possibly. No, that is why I premised my argument on the blocked fund by the Finance Ministry for the COVID fight. Okay? So what I seek to imply is that at a point you can use it and come back to report to them. because it's international agreement. So you need to, because of the contingent nature of you expend it and then bring a report to Parliament immediately. So maybe he can make the argument that the time span, he had still not come, and all that one can be argued. Why did the committee stop short of recommending? They say they are fact-finding, but recommending that the man should be punished.
Because they were working within their terms of what, reference?
Reference.
Exactly.
No, but after making the findings and you see that, yes, the man took a decision which was to advance his personal interest, other than the collective good or interest of the Ghanaian people. Then you can make certain, but it
wasn't part of their terms of reference.
No, the committee saw that.
It's quite lengthy. I can't read them all to you.
The committee saw that the decision he made was in the interest of the people and not his personal interest.
Then why did they ask that they return the money?
No, let's get to that point. Now, the agreement was made. You remember during those times when they were saying $10 factory price and all that. And the minister then said, any NDC person who knows where to get the $10 can come. They will give him a contract. You get it? Now, the issue is with the Matum, this thing, they agreed on a period that you supply. First one, he couldn't meet it. They extended it. He couldn't meet it. Okay? So what happens? And now the issue, Ghanaians are not too comfortable and happy with the way things are going. So they decided, okay, if you can't, and the committee did that recommendation, that if you can't, the money should be returned. Okay? But the argument now is, as the learned MP is saying, what happens if you some 20,000 has been supplied? The Matum is right, he takes his money out of it and then brings the rest to you. It's up to you to go account to your listing, okay?
But the Supreme Court's ruling says that once you sidestep, you should return all the amounts that has been sent.
No,
so what is sidestep?
That's why I said again, a fund was blocked for COVID. I've had the privilege of sitting in some...
Okay, I'll let you come in shortly.
I've had the privilege, I've said it time without number here, sitting in some of the technical committee of this COVID listing with Ministry of their seasoned lawyers, accountants, and brilliant chaps in there. Okay? Those were the people are taking decisions and advising the minister and the president on the COVID issues. Okay? Very brilliant people there. Okay? So I thought before these things will happen the way they have happened, let's all keep the engagement going. But I know for a fact that the minister didn't take decisions that would have, led to him benefiting personally. Okay? Contingent time we needed. And if he had not taken that decision, Ghanaians will say he's at aloof, incompetent. He did nothing.
But he could have gone to Parliament. He could have at least sought cabinet approval, at least. But he didn't.
But what shows he didn't?
But, I mean, you have read the committee report.
Even cabinet was not formed then. Yeah. Even cabinet was not formed then.
No, people were representing the president in certain capacities.
Okay. So he could have still gone to them.
Thank you. May I
the funds were blocked.
Wrap up for me, please.
I think Mr. Isi is missing the point.
No.
It is not about the payment or the mode of it at all, or the source of the payment. That's not what we are speaking about. We are saying when you took the decision to contract a middleman who is a foreign entity to supply these drugs, you ought to have known that you needed parliamentary approval to sanction the transaction. And indeed, you receive an AG's opinion on the matter that do not proceed. So Mr. Isi should stop saying that it's about funds. No, nobody is saying that finance minister ought not to have paid. We are looking at the procedure as laid down in law. You are advised by no other person than the office of the Attorney General that there are clear consequences, and so don't proceed with this contract. You disregarded that and proceeded. That's what we speak of.
What happens to contingent moments?
Look, contingent. Did you receive a second? Hold on. You keep talking about.
You yourself said the government had not been formed.
Hold on. Exactly.
So, and people were acting in their capacity.
Mr. Isi.
Sobolo here.
I have seen documents. I've seen documents.
Medan. Okay. It's Medan. Can I serve you some Medan this morning? Yes. Okay.
You know, Mr. Isi,
yes,
I have seen documents where the presidency issued executive approval for things to be done because he didn't have cabinet at the time. The substantive ministers have not been vetted and sworn in.
Okay.
So the executive took executive decision and gave approvals. It didn't happen in this case. That's the question we're asking.
But it doesn't look as if he will be resigning.
Well,
do you think that the president is going to ask him to step aside? No?
The president himself has been joking with the matter. He went to Doma to speak about him as if he's one of his appointees who is being troubled by people like us. They are slapping him left and right.
Well,
it's not true.
Well,
no, but no. But stop using this expressions that he's a hard-working minister.
It's his decision to make.
Should the president terminate his appointment?
No, it depends on the facts available on the table. The facts available to me.
We the minority, we have done our work.
Enjoy. I didn't get a calabash to enjoy.
Ghana hasn't lost
the
told you that we haven't lost along with our community members, and so just make sure that you stay tuned. And we have a chief, a guard chief, who will be here to educate us. We're pouring libation out the studio to educate us more on the essence of Homowo and a bit of the history as well. And so keep watching. I've been speaking to Lawyer Roxy Desiamepo. He is the MP for South Dye, and yes, we've gotten some for others
as well. Yes, we don't have to wait for a ceremony. Our roads as well. We're waiting for that.
Look, the reporter will go and cover the hospital road.
George Aisi is the Director of Communications for NADMO. Yes, thank you so much. You can enjoy Young Medan now, and we'll be back with some more. This is, of course, TV3 New Day, and so keep watching. The sports and more coming up.